I never believed in blind trust. A man who blindly trusts anyone, especially his wife, is a damn fool. That's what my father taught me, and that's what I lived by. I worked my ass off to build a life of dominance, control, and respect. People feared me, respected me. My presence alone made weak men straighten their backs. But love? Love makes even the strongest man weak. I met Vanessa 7 years ago. She was young, beautiful, with the kind of body that turned heads and an attitude that made men think she was untouchable. But I touched her. I owned her. And when I put my ring on her finger, I thought that was it. I had conquered the one thing every man wanted. For 5 years, I played the role of the perfect husband, provided everything: a nice house, financial security, a future. I never gave her a reason to want more. I was the man in our relationship, and she damn well knew it. But then there were the signs. It started small. Little changes. She became distant, not in a dramatic way, but subtly. The way she'd check her phone and angle it away. The times she'd come home late from girls' night, smelling like a man's cologne, thinking I wouldn't notice. The fake enthusiasm in our bed, where once she clawed at me like a starving animal. I ignored it at first. Not because I was stupid, but because I wanted proof. A man like me doesn't act on emotion. He acts when he knows. And then, fate handed me the moment I needed. That night, I had finished work early, closed a major deal that put an extra 6 figures in my pocket. My gut told me to celebrate, but something inside urged me to go to my parents' house instead. When I pulled up, her car was already there. I stepped out, my jaw tightening. Vanessa never visited my mother without me. They weren't exactly enemies, but they weren't close either. So what the hell was she doing here? I didn't announce my presence. Instead, I walked around the side of the house, my boots silent against the pavement. The kitchen window was open just enough for me to hear them. And that's when my world shifted. "How was your date?" My mother's voice was casual, almost friendly. My blood ran cold. Vanessa's voice followed, a playful chuckle. "You always ask that, Mom. It was amazing. He just, he knows how to make me feel alive." I clenched my fists so hard my knuckles cracked. "Dear, you have dried white fluid around your mouth. Clean yourself. Next time, be more careful." I didn't breathe. What? The F asterisk. My own mother was covering for her. Then Vanessa spoke again, her voice dripping with gratitude. "What would I do without you? Thank you for helping with the pregnancy termination. If your son found out, he'd destroy me." I backed away, my vision blurred red. She was pregnant, not by me, and my own mother helped her cover it up. I turned and walked away, every step deliberate. Vanessa and my mother had no idea I was there. No idea that I had just heard everything. They thought I'd never find out. They were wrong. I wasn't just going to leave her. I wasn't just going to divorce her. I was going to ruin her. And I was going to make damn sure my mother paid the price for her betrayal, too. They had no idea that their lives were about to become a living nightmare. Vanessa and I met the way most powerful men meet their women. She was a prize, and I was the man worthy enough to claim her. I was 30 when we first crossed paths. I had already built myself into something most men could only dream of. A successful business owner, respected in every room I walked into, feared in others. My life was about discipline, control, and winning. I had no patience for weakness, no tolerance for betrayal. Vanessa was different back then. She wasn't just a pretty face. She had a fire in her, a sharp tongue that kept lesser men at bay. She was a bartender at an upscale lounge, the kind of place that catered to executives and power players. I saw the way men looked at her, the way they tried to buy her attention with cheap compliments and flashy watches. But I was different. I didn't beg for attention. I took it. When I walked in that night, I saw her eyes scan the room, locking onto me like she felt my presence before she even saw me. She knew. Everyone else in that lounge was playing a part. I was the only one who was real. I didn't have to chase her. I ordered my drink, locked eyes with her, and that was it. That night, she was mine. For years, I believed she was the perfect woman. She played the role well, loyal, loving, and mine. We built a life together. I made sure she never wanted for anything. We had 2 kids, both boys, my sons, my blood. Leo was 7th, smart, fearless. He had my energy, my intensity. He was already getting into fights at school, standing up for himself the way I taught him. Teachers tried to call it aggression, but I knew better. It was dominance. Ethan was 4, a little quieter, more reserved, but no less my son. He watched everything, learned from observing. He'd grow up knowing what a real man was supposed to be. Or at least, that's what I thought. Now? Now I questioned everything. Did she ever love me? Were my kids even mine? How long had she been lying to me and my mother? She wasn't just covering for Vanessa. She helped her terminate another man's child. It made my blood boil. I could accept enemies coming for me. I could handle snakes trying to stab me in the back. But my own blood, my own wife and mother, that was the kind of betrayal that made a man lose his soul. I didn't go home that night. I needed a plan. I needed to think. But thinking became impossible when I saw him. The man Vanessa was screwing, Mike Hudson, a man I once called a friend. I spotted him coming out of a steakhouse downtown, laughing, checking his phone, probably texting my wife. Rage hit me like a drug. My vision tunneled, my pulse pounded. I didn't think. I acted. I stepped in front of him, blocking his path. He barely had time to react before I slammed my fist into his jaw. The sound of my knuckles cracking against bone was satisfying. He stumbled back, dazed, but I didn't give him time to recover. I grabbed him by his collar and slammed him against a parked car. You think you can be my wife and walk around like nothing happened? I snarled, my grip tightening around his throat. His eyes widened in panic. He tried to speak, but I didn't let him. I wanted him to feel powerless. I wanted him to know what it felt like to be at my mercy. Well, wait, man, I cut him off by slamming my fist into his gut, hard enough to make him choke on his breath. She was carrying your hard child, I growled. Did you know that? Or did my mother forget to tell you? The color drained from his face. Good. He didn't know. I let go, shoving him to the ground. He coughed, scrambling backward, fear in his eyes. I could have kept going. I wanted to break him, to shatter every bone in his body. But something stopped me. Not pity, not mercy. No, I had a better idea. Destroying him with my fists would be too easy. I wanted to destroy his life. I straightened, fixing my shirt, staring down at him like he was nothing. You're done, I said, voice calm now, deadly. He swallowed hard. Well, what? I own you now. I saw the realization dawn on him, the understanding that he furred up beyond repair. Every deal you have, every job, every contract, I'll burn it all to the ground, I said. Your name will be poison in this city. By the time I'm done, you'll be lucky to get hired flipping burgers. He opened his mouth to beg, but I was already walking away. This wasn't over. Vanessa had no idea what was coming. My mother had no idea what was coming. I was about to make them regret every decision they ever made. I didn't go home that night. Home wasn't home anymore. It was just a building where a snake slept in my bed, pretending to be my wife. Instead, I parked outside a bar, my hands still aching from the force of Mike Hudson's jaw cracking under my fists. The rage hadn't faded. If anything, it was worse. I wasn't the kind of man who let things go. I was the kind of man who burned everything down when I got betrayed. I ordered a whiskey, straight, and sat in the dark corner of the bar, replaying everything in my head. Why? Why would she do this to me? Vanessa had everything. The house, the money, a loyal, powerful husband who could destroy any man who so much as looked at her wrong. We had kids, 2 boys who looked up to me, who needed a father who could teach them how to be men. And she threw it all away. I could understand a weak woman falling for temptation, but Vanessa wasn't weak. She was calculating. A woman who always thought 2 steps ahead. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment affair. This was planned. And that meant she had a reason. I needed to know what it was. I pulled out my phone, opened the tracking app I had installed on her phone months ago. when the first suspicions crept in. It wasn't just paranoia. I had learned long ago that when your gut tells you something is wrong, it's always right. Her location popped up. She was at a hotel, not at home. The rage turned cold. My mind sharpened. If she was with him, I wasn't just walking in, I was dragging them both into hell. I paid for my drink, got into my car, and drove. The hotel was a high-end one. Of course it was. She was using my money to cheat on me in a place that cost more per night than most people made in a week. I walked through the lobby like I owned the place. Because men like me, we don't ask for permission. The receptionist barely had time to look up before I was at the elevator, punching the button for the top floor. Room 708. My heart was pounding, but not from nerves, from anticipation. I didn't knock. I kicked the door open. Vanessa screamed. Mike, who had somehow dragged his beaten, pathetic ass from earlier to this hotel, fell off the bed in pure terror. They were naked, sheets tangled. The sight should have broken me. Instead, it solidified me. Vanessa scrambled to grab the sheet, but I was already moving. I grabbed her by the wrist, yanking her up to face me. She gasped, eyes wide, but I wasn't done, not even close. You have one chance, I growled. One fucking chance to tell me the truth. Why? She stared at me and then she smiled. Smiled. And I felt something inside me snap. You want to know why? She whispered, venom in her voice. Because you never let me win. I blinked. What? She yanked her arm free and stood there, the sheet wrapped around her body like a pathetic shield. You always had the power, the money, the respect. You walked into every room and took control. Do you know what it's like to be the shadow of a man like you? So that was it. She didn't want love. She didn't want passion. She wanted power. I had given her everything, except control. And that had eaten away at her. She chose Mike because he was less. Because in his arms, she wasn't just my wife. She was in control. I stared at her for a long time. The woman I had built a life with, the mother of my kids, she was nothing to me now. I turned my head to look at Mike, who was trembling like a beaten dog in the corner. You're both going to regret this, I said calmly. I hope you enjoyed this little fucking fantasy, Vanessa, because it's over. And by the time I'm done with you, you'll wish you never crossed me. I turned and walked out, but I wasn't done. I was just getting started. Nuclear revenge. Step 1. Take everything I had been prepared for this the second my suspicions started. Before I left the hotel, I sent every piece of evidence I had to my lawyer. Pictures, text messages, everything. Vanessa thought she was smart, but I was smarter. By morning, divorce papers were being drafted. I had the house, the money, the leverage, and best of all, a court-ordered DNA test was about to be scheduled for my kids. If they weren't mine, she was done if they were. She'd never see a dime from me again, but I'd make damn sure my sons stayed with me. Step 2. Ruin her reputation. Vanessa cared about one thing, her image. So I made sure that was the first thing to burn. A few well-placed messages to mutual friends. A leaked video of her little hotel escapades. By the time I was done, she was the pariah of our entire social circle. She wasn't just a cheater. She was a joke. Step 3. Destroy Mike. Mike thought he could fight my wife and walk away. Wrong. I made one call to his boss. One simple conversation. By noon, he was fired. By the end of the day, his wife had left him. Yeah, that's right. He had a wife too. I found her, sent her the same proof I had, and watched the nuclear explosion take out every part of his life. Step 4. My mother, and my mother. I was her only lifeline. She had nothing without me. So I made sure she felt the full weight of her betrayal. Cut her off. Completely. No money, no support, nothing. And when she came crying, begging for forgiveness, I told her the same thing Vanessa told me when I asked her why. You should have known better. The aftermath. Vanessa lost everything. The house gone, the money gone, her reputation shattered. She tried to fight in court, but the judge took one look at the evidence I had and ripped her apart. She walked away with nothing but regret. Mike, unemployed, alone, a failure. My mother, I never spoke to her again. And me? I walked away from it all, untouched. I was still powerful, still respected. But one thing changed. I wasn't the same man anymore. I was something worse. And God help the next person who thought they could betray me. She thought she could betray me. Now she begs me for mercy. Vanessa used to say she loved me. She used to whisper it at night, kiss me with that soft, lying mouth, and swear she would never leave. Now? Now she sat across from me in the cold, sterile conference room, her once perfect hair a mess, her expensive makeup smeared from crying. Her hands trembled as she reached out, her voice breaking. "Please," she whispered, "please don't do this." I leaned back in my chair, expression unreadable. "I gave you everything," I said slowly. "And you threw it away for what? A weak man? A cheap thrill?" She swallowed hard, her lips parting as if she was going to speak, but no words came. I didn't need her to say anything. I already knew the truth. She did it because she thought I was too strong to leave her, too powerful to care. She thought she could play her game and still have me. She was wrong. Back to the beginning, the moment everything changed. I was the kind of man who controlled his world. I didn't let anyone dictate my fate, not in business, not in life, and definitely not in my own damn house. I worked for years to build a legacy, to make my family untouchable. My name carried weight, my reputation was ironclad. And then one night, one moment, I walked into my parents' house and overheard my own mother covering for my wife's affair. "How was your date?" my mother had asked. "Dear, you have dried white fluid around your mouth. Clean yourself. Next time, be more careful." I had stopped breathing. My body had locked up, every muscle tight with rage. But it was the next words that broke me. "What would I do without you? Thank you for helping with the pregnancy termination. If your son found out, he'd destroy me." Pregnancy termination. She had been carrying another man's child, and my own mother had helped her cover it up. It wasn't just betrayal, it was war. The fall of Vanessa, a step-by-step destruction. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. Men like me don't break down. We get even. Step 1. Take away everything she loved. By sunrise the next morning, our bank accounts were frozen. She had always loved the expensive lifestyle. Designer bags, spa treatments, luxury vacations. Now, she had nothing. I made sure of it. Step 2. The ultimate DNA test. I demanded tests on our kids. She fought, begged, pleaded, said I was overreacting. But I wasn't some clueless fool. If one child wasn't mine, I was walking away from both. The test results came back. Leo, my 7-year-old son, mine. Ethan, my 4-year-old, not. I had spent 4 years raising another man's bastard. I felt nothing. Not sadness, not heartbreak, just cold, burning fury. Step 3. Expose her to the world. She cared about her image. She had built her life around being the perfect wife to a successful man. She was admired, envied, so I destroyed that. A few clicks, a few messages. Every single one of our mutual friends received a neat little folder. Photos, screenshots, text messages. By the end of the day, she was a social outcast. Her phone was blowing up with angry messages. Her friends blocked her. The PTA moms at our kids' school whispered behind her back. She had become the town's biggest joke. Step 4. Mike Hudson's final chapter. The man she betrayed me for? He had no idea what was coming. He lost his job. His wife, oh, did I forget to mention? Yeah, he was married too. I sent her the same evidence I had. By the end of the week, divorce papers were on his doorstep. And when Vanessa tried running to him, he wanted nothing to do with her. She had thrown away everything for a man who wouldn't even claim her. Now, she was truly alone. The final meeting. when she realized she lost everything. And now, here we were. She was staring at me, eyes red-rimmed, hands trembling. "I made a mistake," she whispered. I didn't answer. She reached out, desperate, pathetic. "I still love you. Please, we can fix this." I laughed. Actually laughed. "You think I want you back?" I said. "You think after what you did I could ever touch you again?" Her breath hitched. But, but the kids." I leaned forward, my voice calm, merciless. "Leo will stay with me." She flinched. "Ethan, well, that's not my problem, is it?" A choked sob escaped her lips. "Please," she begged. "Please don't do this." But I already had. I stood up, adjusted my watch, and turned to leave. Right before I walked out, I looked over my shoulder one last time. "You made your choice, Vanessa," I said. "Now live with it." And then I left her there, broken, alone, forgotten. The aftermath, a man reborn. Vanessa lost everything. The house, gone. The money, gone. Her social life, gone. She tried to fight it in court, but she had no chance. She was a single mother now, raising a child that wasn't mine, with no job, no money, and no one left to turn to. Mike? Ruined. My mother? Disowned. And me? I walked away from it all. Not as a victim, as the man who won. The man who took ultimate revenge. And if anyone thought they could ever betray me again, they'd suffer worse. The end. Or just the beginning. They thought they could break me. Instead, I became something stronger, more powerful, more ruthless. And the next time someone dared to cross me, I wouldn't just ruin them, I'd erase them. It had been a year since I walked away from Vanessa. A year since I took everything she loved, shattered her reputation, and left her to rot in the ruins of her own mistakes. Some people say revenge doesn't heal you, that it won't bring you peace. They're wrong. Every day since that night, since I exposed her, since I ripped her perfect little world apart, I have felt nothing but satisfaction. Because I didn't just win, I erased her. The aftermath. A woman in ruins. Vanessa tried to fight, she tried to play the victim, told everyone I was abusive, that I controlled her. But the problem with lying is that you need people to believe you. And she had no one left. Her family? Turned against her. Her friends? Gone. Her money? Evaporated. She tried getting a job. No one would hire her. She tried dating. No man with a shred of intelligence wanted a cheating, backstabbing parasite. Even Mike, the pathetic excuse of a man she threw everything away for, had moved out of state, leaving her with a child that wasn't mine and a future that was even worse. She called me. Over and over. Blocked. She showed up at my gym once, waiting outside, trying to get my attention. I walked past her like she didn't even exist. That's when she truly broke. She stopped dressing up, stopped pretending she was high class. Her hair turned greasy, her face pale. She started losing weight, not the sexy kind, but the kind that happens when someone is barely scraping by. I saw her once, a year after the divorce. She was in the parking lot of a supermarket, holding Ethan's hand. Her eyes were sunken, her clothes cheap and wrinkled. She looked like a ghost of the woman I once knew. When she saw me, her breath hitched. She stepped forward as if she still thought there was a chance. I just smirked, and I kept walking. She had become what she feared most, a nobody, and I was still a king. The final message, her last attempt at redemption. One night, months later, I got an email from Vanessa. It was long, desperate, full of pathetic, pitiful words. She told me she was sorry, that she had lost everything, that she didn't realize what she had until it was gone. She told me she needed help, that she was homeless, that Ethan was hungry, that she had nowhere left to go. She told me she had changed, that she understood now how wrong she was. I read it all, every single word, and then I deleted it. No response, no sympathy, no second chances. She made her choice. Now, she was just another ghost from my past, forgotten, erased, dead to me. And me? I kept winning. I rebuilt my life, got even richer, stronger. Leo stayed with me, growing up with a father who actually deserved respect. I dated women who knew their place, who understood that I was a man who couldn't be played. And as for Vanessa, I never thought about her again. Because when you betray a man like me, you don't just lose, you disappear. Forever.